Hello everybody, I'm the Autistic Dog Wizard. Welcome back to the channel. Today I would like to talk about instinctual intelligence. And I want to put it in opposition of intellectual intelligence. When I first started walking dogs, I came across a book by Cesar Millan and he described 4 types of intelligences. Emotional, instinctual, intellectual, and spiritual. Emotional and spiritual intelligence came a little bit later on, but I was really fascinated by the idea that Cesar put forward that dogs operate mostly with instinctual intelligence. Their instinctual intelligence is very high, whereas humans in general, at least in our society, we have a high level of intellectual intelligence. And those are kind of opposing forces. So that made me curious. When I started walking dogs, I was walking 6, 7 dogs, and I would have 3 or 4 or 5 of them off leash, and I generally have to have 1 or 2 on leash. And so I wanted to start to learn what instinctual intelligence was and how to sort of tap into it myself. And I want to put this challenge forward to everybody who's watching. I want to give people the idea that it's better to walk with instincts than it is to walk with thought and intellect. So how did I learn how to do this? First thing I did was I would start walking into the forest and I would start getting into a good solid pace. I was a lot younger, so I was going a lot faster. Walking and hopping over logs, going around trees, walking over rocks, hopping over ponds, all this kind of stuff, so that my mind had something to do where it was basically focused on its environment. And what I would do is I would have 1 or 2 dogs on leash, the ones that would kind of go in every direction. So I waited for the moment when I felt it was right to take them off leash, and I would take them off leash mid-stride. And it was always the right time to do it. I would always just wait for the feeling of knowing when to let the dog off leash, and it would be perfect. They would just continue to follow me. And that's what instinctual intelligence is. It's a feeling. It's the feeling you get in your environment when something is around or you're just waiting for guidance. You could also use the words spiritual guidance. You can use intuition. You can substitute instinctual intelligence with these words, I believe. And you can also change it with God presence or Jesus' calling. They're all the same feeling. Basically, they entail you to lower your thought processes, silence yourself inside, and wait for the knowing of what to do. And it can be with you asking what to do. What should I do in this moment? And just wait for the knowing of what to do or what to say or how to move, or the direction to go, or when to do it. All these are instinctual intelligences that will come to you. Now, the trick is to start to learn to operate with instinctual intelligence is the timing. The timing has to be immediate. The timing has to be decided the moment you have the feeling to do it. Do not hesitate. Use that feeling and go with it right away, within a half second or even less. Don't allow it to continue any longer before you make a decision about what to do or what to say, because that's when your brain will start kicking in. That's when your intellect will start kicking in. Your intellect will turn into the decision maker and you will inevitably make the wrong decision. Your intellect will misguide you, make it think like you're making the right decision, but it will actually misguide you. Your instinct knows the exact decision of what to do in the moment. So this is what I would put forward to everybody who's watching. Walk with your dog without a plan. Do not take your device, don't take your phone, don't take anything electronic, do not take your Apple iPhone, so that your intellect is not on overdrive and your entire walk is operating with your intellectual capacity. What you want to use your mind and your brain for, your mind, is to start to tap into your environment. Start to feel, start to see, use your eyes to scan the environment, keep your chin up. Listen to your environment, feel your body, feel your breath, feel your legs, feel how you feel. Tap into that. That's what I always tap into. I use my brain to monitor my biorhythm. And then I just allow my instincts to decide what I do based on what is in my environment. So if you're walking a dog and there's a person walking a dog and you get a bad feeling, make a decision right away and go off the path and avoid that. Do not continue walking if you have the unpleasant feeling. Your instinct kicks in and tells you not to do that. It's a feeling. You have to start to tap into the feeling of your body, and you're not going to be able to do that if your brain is on overdrive. What I've learned over time is that the instinctual, intuitive side of our intelligence is never wrong. It'll always guide you in the right direction, and you'll make a lot less mistakes, you'll run into a lot less traps, you'll have a lot less bad things happening. In fact, if you start to operate based on your intuition, all the time, which is what I've actually learned to do. I've just waited for the knowing of what to do, and I just do that. It always guides you in the way that you're meant to go in life, in a positive direction. Don't decide things based on what you think about. Generally what I do is, because I'm autistic, my mind goes to assessing people's energy. So I get a feeling of a person. I use a little bit of time to observe that, very little time, maybe a second, half second to a second. I've already made a decision to move and to decide what to do based on my instinct, but then I use my intellect to sort of come up with a reason why that person is giving me this feeling. And so I get sometimes a whole life story about what's going on in that person's life. Maybe not a whole entire life story, but at least what's going on in their immediate life, so that I have something to do with my intellect. You could call it judgment, but I actually prefer to call it intuition. It's sort of an autistic gift. Autistic people have the ability to feel the room, and we feel changes in the room because we're very sensitive to emotional and energetic change. That's where my special powers come in. My special powers allow me to navigate my environment very safely because I'm very sensitive to the energy around me. And I've learned to tap into my instinctual intelligence by making a decision based on my superpower of being able to observe my environment. And it never steers me wrong. I never have any accidents. I mean, I'm not never having any accidents, but less and less and less and less, because I'm just guided by feeling and intuition. I do the same thing if I'm going to see a dog for the first time, and it's a dog who's behaving in a very seriously bad way. I'll just stand there. The dog could be in the environment. Generally, I'll ask the dog to be in other area, and an area where I can observe it, and I'll just observe, and I'll simply just wait for the knowing of when to move. Sometimes that could be 2 minutes. I just wait for the feeling, and then I go. And that's always going to be the right time to make that decision. And that's the way dogs are operating too, by the way. They're just way more good at it. They're way more inclined to operate with their instinct, and so you can use that as well for sort of as a feedback. If your dog has an instinct, trust it. Don't let them act out on it. You make the decision to act out about what decision to make in that moment, but use your dog's instinct as information about whatever they're giving you information about, whether it's a human, whether it's a dog, whether it's an animal, whether it's a space, whether it's a street, because they actually have, this is what ends up happening, is it seems to me that if you start relying on your intuition more and more and more, you actually are able to start to see into the future, because intuition is something that happens where you actually have a decision, a split off of, if you go this way, this is what's going to happen. And if you go this way, this is what's going to happen. If you use your intuition to decide what to do, you will always go in a way where it's a better off for everybody around you. But if you allow your thinking to make the decision for you, you'll end up in a situation where it's worse off for you and worse off for the environment, because ego kicks in, and ego generally wants you to make yourself feel better than other people or put people down because it makes you feel better. That's what ego does. Ego is a competition way of thinking, and that's what thinking generally is. That's a long-winded way of saying practice your instinct, practice going out with no devices, start to rely on your instinct, start to rely on your feeling, keep your head up, your shoulders back, a calm body, assertive mind. Make a decision that you feel is right in the moment, and don't hesitate, and just do it and see what happens. You'll actually start to have these incredible synchronicities happen in your life, and your life will actually start to sort of help you out in a way. You'll start to become more healthy, you'll start to become more happy, you'll become more joyful, and it starts to become very enjoyable. Because what it is that you don't know what you're going to be doing from moment to moment to moment. I have no idea when and where I'm going to go when I go out walking. It's completely based on my intuition and what's in my environment. So my environment dictates where and when I go. So it's actually pretty exciting. It's fun when you don't know what you're going to be doing. I'm the Autistic Dog Wizard. Go out, tap into those instinctual intelligence that you have, and it's a vast sea of knowledge. Give it a whirl.